doing quite well, thanks. As you can see, I'm doing something a little bit different than my normal Stitch With Me videos. I'm working on my mushroom sow, the mushroom sampler, and I'm doing a bunch of backstitch today. So I finally finished stitching these mushrooms, this mushroom motif, and now I have a bunch of greenery to backstitch around the mushrooms that I thought I would work on while I was talking to you all. This morning when I woke up, I went ahead and I finished the X's yesterday, yesterday afternoon, and then this morning when I woke up, I went ahead and did all the back stitching on the mushrooms to get the mushrooms done. Those mushrooms I did not enjoy stitching. I don't know why, because they are, they're kind of just confetti, which is nothing unusual for me, and they're not even complex confetti, but for some reason these mushrooms just, I did not enjoy stitching. I love the way they look. I think they look great. I also think it was also dreading all the backstitch that is in the mushrooms, even though it's kind of hard to see the backstitch because it blends in so well into the mushrooms themselves, but it does just give a hint of detail that they didn't have prior to the backstitch. So now I'm going in and adding all of the sprigs of green that are around the mushrooms. And then I have to add the borders down on each side. And there are some words down here that I need to add in. So that sprig is done, and I can move on to the next. So the greenery on this sampler is done with one strand, and each X is a half stitch. So instead of a full cross, it's a half stitch with a outline. This sampler also has all of the threads pre-sorted, so I did not have to do any of this myself, and it's really nice, and a nice hard cardboard sorting board. And then what I do to help sort my threads as I'm working on them is I just nicely place the ones that I'm using on the other side of the board so that I know which set of threads I'm currently working with. Oops. Whoopsie, whoopsie, whoopsie. Give me a second here to fix my slight error and thread pulling. There we go. So if you are new to my channel, welcome. I do a Stitch With Me typically once a week on my channel, and I work on usually the projects that I'm currently working on through the week. I just continue working on during my video. I will give you an idea. This is what the sampler will look like when it's done. So far I have worked on these 4 and completed these 4 motifs on top, And this is the motif that I'm currently finishing up right now. So you can see I just finished that sprig of green right there. I'm going to come down and work on, I have to finish the sprigs here, and I'm going to get down to about here on, hopefully today is where I'm going to end. I'm going to finish up the sprig because that's what's on this page of pattern. And then the next time I work on this pattern, I will come down and work in this bottom corner to finish out the bottom corner. And then I will have two sides of the sampler completely done. Really looking for, really enjoying this pattern. For the most part, this sampler is going very quickly, very smooth. Of course, I say that, but then this one motif right here has taken me an awful long time to do, just because I don't know, this one motif really bothered me to work on, and I did put it away for a while because I did not feel like working on it, which, you know, it happens and at times. And I also think it's also just where I was at in my crafting mentality, the motivation I had to craft in general. And so that all played a big role as to, I think, and you know, once you have that thought process for a certain motif or a certain project, then I think it just, you know, it taints um, the the feeling of the project a bit, and so it makes it harder to finish in general, even though you might really like it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah. So, but finally I'm getting through it. I'm really liking the outcome, and I will be happy when it is done and I can move on to the next motif. 3, 4, 5, 6. And this one has a top. Then we do the outline. Okay, this one was a super simple one, and I got that one done. So let me go ahead and um, finish off this, and then we will move on down farther. Now the next few I will not have to. The next few I'm probably going to carry the threads just because of the way they're positioned. So I've noticed in a lot of the videos, this is going to be a slight public service announcement. I just wanted to address some and I really questioned if I wanted to address this or not, but I feel as I am a channel that does this, I wanted to go ahead and readdress it just to clarify and ensure that, you know, everyone is on the same page. I know there has been some ongoing concerns as far as the monetization process for YouTube channels. especially those on FlossTube. I believe a lot of that is just because there is more channels that are now getting to that threshold where they are able to monetize, and so we are starting to see more and more channels going to that, which is awesome. I congratulate all those channels that have recently reached that threshold and have been able to do that for themselves. Because for me, the whole purpose of monetization is to um, help support those channels that are putting content out there, so that they can continue to do what they're doing. This is it does take a lot of time and a lot of work to make these videos and to put the content out there. And it does help to have that little bit of extra um, money coming in to make it all the more worthwhile. Don't get me wrong, the interaction with uh, all of you is just as important, but it does help to continue to fuel the amount of content that we can put out there by having these channel, or by having the small amount of money coming in from the ads. Now, with that being said, I know there has been an increase of comments on on some of my comments on my videos, as well as in social media places, as well as I've heard on other channels concerns about the increased amount of ads on individual videos. And I just want to say, um, I treat my channel just like a TV show. Most of my videos are anywhere between 20 to 30 minutes. And I say most, some of my updates are not quite that long. So they will not, um, but for the most part, most of my videos are 20 to 30-minute long. So, it's like the length of a half-hour TV show. With that being said, when you watch a 20 to 30-minute TV show, you're going to get, an ad at the beginning, an ad at the end, and typically an ad in the middle. And so that is the purpose of me adding those ads into the middle of my videos, is just to help offset, to help increase that revenue a little bit more. And as far as the fact that the ads might cut off sentences, sometimes it's almost impossible. If I have an entire episode of talking, it's impossible to find an area where it's it makes sense to insert the ad. So I do as best as I can, and sometimes it is what it is. Also, I've also had an increase of comments regarding my introductions, about the length of my introductions. And because of the music and the intro screens. I also do that because, just like a TV show, you have a theme song. You have a a either a montage or some kind of TV clip where it has the names of the stars of the people going through at the beginning of the episode. that is just my simple way of being able to put out my social media content and the title of the episode and all that stuff. So I don't have to do that in my video. So I don't have to talk about that through every single video of mine. And again, it's every channel does things differently. So if you don't like the longer introductions, fast forward. That, it's a video. You have that opportunity to do so. I put the content out there so that people, can easily find my Etsy store, my Instagram. If I have special guests on my channel, then you can find their information. And it's just, and it highlights who else is on my channel that day, that episode. So I just wanted to give some clarification to that so that people are aware as to why um, you know why there seems to be maybe an increase of ads and the purpose of those ads, at least within my channel. I appreciate all of you who continue to support the channel by watching the ads, and and it's I really do appreciate it because it's a way for me to then be able to take that money and put it back into my channel, just like I was able to do with the to use for my diamond painting by buying the diamond painting kits, and buying some of the other things that I feature on my channel. So the money does go back into the channel because I'm able to buy the things that I show you on my channel. And like everyone else who monetizes says, it's not as much money as you might think. Okay, now that the public service announcement is over, I thought I would go ahead and answer some more of your wonderful questions that you have provided on Facebook. So let me go ahead and pull that up because I didn't do that yet like I should have. Let me find that. Saved. There it is. One nice thing that you can do on Facebook now is that you can save um, posts so that way, and maybe that's an old thing, but I just learned about it, so I don't know. But it's now nice that I can save the posts. I was able to save the post so I can easily find it so I can continue to reference it whenever I answer these questions. Okay. Let's see. Okay, Alyssa, we're going to start off with a great question. Alyssa asks, would you want to know if there is other intelligent life in the universe? She has a multi-part question, so let's answer that part question first. Yes, I would love to know if there is other intelligent life in the universe. I think that would be um, very cool to know. And, I really, in my honest personal opinion, think that as vast as space is, there you really got to wonder if there is if if we are really the only life out there, because why is there all of this space and we're the only ones? Just saying. Okay. if there is, would that scare you or excite you? It would definitely excite me. And I don't think I would be scared. Um, because you would think that they would be wondering the same thing if they were as intelligent and, as advanced as we are. One, two. Let me get past this one spot. I just want to make sure I don't mess this up. There we go. Wonderful question, Alyssa. Dorothy asks, I'm a runner and I'd like to know more about your running and any exercise routine you have now or did have and are getting back to. Excellent question, Dorothy. Because lately I have been advocating an increase of exercising that I have been doing. Um, I have been trying to be more fit. Of course, this week being on vacation, I have not been doing much of that at all, but I have actually been devoting a lot of time to the business and my channel. So I have not really, I've been really indoors a lot trying to get, some designs ready to go and some videos filmed and all that kind of stuff. But okay, that's a side note. My exercise routine. So I am primarily a cardio person. I am a jogger. I'm really just getting back into the routine of jogging. I used to do an average of 3 miles at a time, a 5K. And I used to be able to do that in about 28 minutes. I am now building back up to that, along with, having to lose some weight in the process. So while I'm trying to get back into shape and exercise health, I'm also in the process of trying to lose some of that weight that I put on from lack of exercise. So 1, 2. So typically, what I'll do is I will go out for 30 to 40 minutes, and I will do more like interval type jogging where I will randomly run for so many minutes, and then I will walk for so many minutes. Um, and I don't have it planned out specifically like what my intervals are going to be. What I like to do is just because I typically run around the neighborhood, so I will choose goals that I set for myself. So I will choose oh, I did that wrong. Hold on. I'm messing up because I'm talking and thinking about my exercise routine instead. Um, so I will choose landmarks to, run to. So if I start running, I will say, I'm going to run until I get to this house, the yellow house on the corner. And then from there, I will walk until I get to such and such, the stop sign at this intersection. And then, and then I'll start running again and I will try to do things like that. And I vary it just so that it keeps my body questioning how, the length of the jogging and the walking that I'm doing, so that my body doesn't get used to a certain length of interval. I've noticed that seems to help me the best get into shape, and I enjoy that the best because it challenges me, because I get bored easily with exercise routines. And I get bored with exercising because, I would rather be sitting and stitching or playing my computer game or, you know, knitting lately because I've been doing a lot more knitting. So, yeah. One, okay. One, two. Okay, yeah, we're right. We are right. Oh, I see the space. Okay. There we go. So that is an excellent question, Dorothy. Thank you very much. Um, so yeah, I've been trying to do that 3 to 4 times a week, and that's really helping me get my 10,000 steps in. Whenever I don't go jogging, I will go walking. And I have a beautiful lake here. Oh, I didn't want to do that. See, I'm talking too much and not paying attention to my pattern. I have a beautiful lake here that I live on, and just a small little pond, really more so than a lake, but I call it a lake. And I will walk around that whenever I am looking for to get my 10,000 steps in after work. Of course, this week has been an off week, and I have not been very productive as far as my exercising is concerned. But that is going to change um, this weekend. Okay. Lindsay asks, what kind of munchies or drinks do you have on hand while stitching? Or do you keep food and drinks far away from your projects and eat drink when you take breaks? Lindsay, excellent question. I am a person who I eat and drink right while I'm stitching. It doesn't bother me one bit to eat and drink while I'm stitching. Um, I always have a drink on hand, either coffee or water. I actually have coffee right beside me right now. I'm not afraid of having a drink beside me. I always have a drink right beside me. I'm just very cautious whenever I do. I, yep, I have that right. Okay. When it comes to eating, if I will eat while I'm stitching. I just always have a napkin with me. If it is something that has a lot of powder or something, I will eat it and then go wash my hands and then come back to stitching. If it's something that's, not too greasy or not too powdery or anything like that, I'll just eat it anyways and not worry about it. 3 and 4. Yeah, those kind of things I do not fret about too much because, um, yeah, I'm not a horribly picky person when it comes to that kind of stuff. Uh, I don't use tongs. I don't use, I would just try to be as neat as I can. and just be overly cautious. Have I had accidents? Of course I have, but you know, that's life. And I try not to fret about it too much. So to answer your question, the type of snacks I have, I'm more of a snack food type person when it comes to, so like pretzels, popcorn, potato chips. That is my go-to snack of choice. I try not to have them in the house because I will eat an entire bag of potato chips and forego having supper because I'd rather just eat the potato chips. I'm not a big sweets person, so I'm not going to eat I'm not, that's just not my thing. So I'll eat sweets, but it's not really my go-to snack of choice. And I think I'm going to switch out my thread because it's getting too short. So very good question, Lindsay. And the last question I answered in the video that I've already recorded for next week's Stitch With Me. And that is, Lindsay also asks about my design process and how I go about designing. So you next Saturday I will have that video up. Actually, I went ahead and pre-recorded a video this week of stitch while I was stitching a model, and I talk about how I go about stitching, how I go about designing for my designing store. Um, so I hope you enjoy that next week. That will be up next Saturday. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish out this greenery. And I'll let the music play out. And you all have a wonderful week of stitching and knitting and diamond painting fun. 1, 2. And I will see you in the next video. And don't forget to always be creative.